Hey guys! Back with another story from Adventures of Frog and Toad by Arnold, Lobel. So hope you're having a good day, and we could jump in here and read the next story. It's called A Lost Button. Toad and Frog went for a long walk. They walked across a large meadow. They walked in the woods. They walked along the river. At last they went back home to Toad's house. "Oh, drat," said Toad. "Not only do my feet hurt, but I have lost one of the buttons on my jacket." There he is. I wonder if he's going to find it. "Don't worry," said Frog. "We'll go back to all the places where we walked. We will soon..." Oh, my glasses are jacked up. "We will soon find your button." They walked back to the large meadow. They began to look for the button in the tall grass. "Here's your button!" cried Frog. "That is not my button," said Toad. "That button is black. My button is white." Toad put the black button in his pocket. Free button. There they're looking. Wonder what else they'll find. A sparrow flew down. "Excuse me," said the sparrow. "Did you lose a button? I found one." "That is not my button," said Toad. "My button has two holes, or that button has two holes. My button had 4 holes." Toad put the button with 2 holes in his pocket. And there's the birdie. It's a helpful little sparrow. Let me get that better for you so you can see. I don't know. There we go. They went back to the woods and looked on the dark paths. "Here's your button," said Frog. "That is not my button," cried Toad. "That button is small. My button was big." Toad put the small button in his pocket. Getting a collection here. Collecting. A raccoon came out from behind a tree. "I heard you were looking for a button," he said. "Here is one that I just found." "That is not my button," wailed Toad. "That button is square. My button is round." Toad put the square button in his pocket. There he is. There's the helpful raccoon. Boy, word on the street. Next time I lose something, know who to go to. Frog and Toad went back to the river. They looked for the button in the mud. "Here's your button," said Frog. "That is not my button," shouted Toad. "That button is thin. My button was thick." Oh, he's getting a little just stressed. There they are. Looking. You know, for some reason, this picture makes me hungry. For corn dogs with lots of mustard. Those are called cattails, and they are very cool. I used to find those by the river when I was a kid. Toad put the thin button in his pocket. He was very angry. He jumped up and down and screamed, "The whole world is covered with buttons, and not one of them is mine." Ooh, he is. Oh, he needs to count to 10. Frustration. Frog is like, "Ooh, whoa, whoa." Toad ran home and slammed the door. And there on the floor, he saw his white 4-holed, big, round, thick button. "Oh," said Toad. "It was here all the time." a lot of trouble I have made for Frog. There he is. Oop, there's that button. Toad took all of the buttons out of his pocket. He took his sewing box down from the shelf. Toad sewed the buttons all over his jacket. The next day, Toad gave his jacket to Frog. Frog thought that it was beautiful. He put it on and jumped for joy. None of the buttons fell off. Toad had sewed them on very well. And here we are. There's Toad with all the buttons that Frog and a sparrow and a raccoon that they all found, right? And he worked very hard and sewed them on. And there is a very happy Frog, feeling stylish and well loved. And that is the end of that story. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope we all can learn from Toad that sometimes people try to help us do stuff and we are crabby or having a rough time or frustrated, and we're all kind of stuck in our thoughts. And when we step back and we're able to see, like, oh, then sometimes we can do things to show the people that helped us that we really actually are grateful. So I hope that you can show gratitude today and be sure and say thank you to people who are helping you. And if you're feeling yourself getting frustrated, oh, I can't find my favorite doll, or, oh, I lost my keys, maybe go back and get quiet for a minute, take a breather, and sometimes it's right there in front of us. And sometimes people help us find it. Let's be gentle with each other, and it'll all be okay. All right. Talk to you later. And if you're reading this right before bed, sweet dreams. Bye. Oh, almost forgot the kiss.